Marshmallow Fanboy back with another review, this time of the Scout Trooper from Star Wars The Mandalorian and Emperor's Royal Guard and TIE Fighter Pilot, both from Return of the Jedi, and all three carbonized. So the carbonizing sort of didn't last very long. It kind of lasted for a few years, and then they kind of quietly discontinued it as nobody sort of kept investing in getting carbonized figures. The carbonized figures tend to be sort of an off hue from the rest of the figures, and they look kind of cool. And I liked the Stormtrooper one. It's kind of a silver, but it's not something that really looks good on your shelf next to established characters. So I think that, you know, getting rid of sort of the carbonized series is probably okay. I don't think that anybody was really dying for these characters to be carbonized. I think if you had somebody like a snow trooper and you carbonized that I could see how that could look like it was frost on the armor, or just a really, that's the only thing I think of is like frost on the armor. Everything looks like it's been stored in a freezer and then taken out. So, but that doesn't mean that we shouldn't take a look at them. The 2-pack of the Royal Guard and the TIE Fighter Pilot are an Amazon exclusive. It's a cool little portrait of the Emperor's Guard and the TIE Fighter Pilot. Nice write-up about them. Nice. That's a nicer picture. That one, you can't tell that it's the action figure. That one looks good enough to be a painting. While on the other side, that one absolutely looks like an action figure. It's kind of not as good as the other one, but they're both. It shows you what's inside. But I'm gonna open the top, and I'm gonna show you the carded figures inside. Already, I kind of like the cards on here. The shiny cards I don't like as well. They have these shiny cards for it was the GameStop exclusive. They were prequel figures. They were in blister cards too. They were, I think, Lucasfilm 50th anniversary. Can't remember. I recently reviewed. Did I review? I'm not absolutely sure. But they had these shiny cards, and the shiny cards look like. It's kind of nice. Maybe under certain circumstances, but it just looks like garbage on your shelf. And even on camera, it looks dark and you can't really see anything. But in person, it doesn't look much better. It just kind of looks dim and dull. And I've got it under lights. And I'm kind of like, okay, well, I got to tilt it at a side or do weird stuff with it. It's just kind of awful. This stuff. But I got to tell you, the guard helmet in this, the shiny red, like, that's how they should do it every time, man. If that's what carbonized means, that's very cool. The cloth of it doesn't look dull. It looks vibrant. I don't know if that's a different material, like kind of a rayon, instead of the really soft cottony stuff that usually comes in an Emperor's Royal Guard garb. I do like that both of them have unpunched holes in the card. I know some people collect unpunched cards. They'll go screaming into Target and they'll just say, "Hey, I want it right out of the case." They don't want it punched, and that's kind of a point of interest with some of those folks. The TIE Fighter Pilot, likewise, I know he's all flat black, but this sort of off blue, kind of carbonized, makes it look like he's maybe the TIE Fighter Pilot of a special TIE Fighter, like just a different TIE Fighter. Like, I like that a whole lot. These two I like much more than some of the other carbonized offerings. 2, 1, like the Scout Trooper, who has sort of the dirty kind of graphics in there that make it look more Return of the Jedi-ish. And, he's shiny and the black parts and stuff. But it just looks odd. Like they're trying to sort of discolor some of it. Like he's out in the desert or the whatever. But along with the shiny stuff, it just looks weird. Although, if I were to think that a scout trooper could serve on like Hoth or something, I could see that being frost on the armor. I could see that being, maybe that's the way you suspend disbelief, is this guy is in the snow, and this guy isn't just an Emperor's Royal Guard. He's elite, and he has just a shinier helmet so that he's like a captain, and then a shinier sort of robe. The arms don't look any different. The arms still are flat red, so I don't think there's anything different under there, but we'll see. And this guy looks like he flies a special TIE fighter, sort of an experimental TIE fighter, or a newer TIE fighter. Maybe he's a TIE bomber pilot. Maybe that just looks like it could be plausible. The carbonizing is a little bit better on the when you get to Darth Vader or you get to Boba Fett, it's obviously not them. But when you do an army builder, you think, well, that could be anybody. And it could be a new thing. It could be a new unit or a new vehicle that we haven't seen. Or it could be that guy's a commander, so his suit is blue. And all the people in black are supposed to recognize the blue people as kind of officers or something like that. I'm not sure. But these guys look good in their packages. But let's take them out and see what we think of them in person. Now that these guys are out of the packages, let's take a closer look, starting with the TIE Fighter Pilot. TIE Fighter Pilot has sort of muted colors on this kind of respirator grid up here, which is still really cool. Still looks like he's just elite. The emblems on his helmet are very cool, very sharp here. The gun is hard to... The rifle is the same color he is. So just like a TIE fighter pilot. Like a regular TIE fighter pilot. Of course, he has the holster for the blaster like a stormtrooper would. He has these cool gloves. They're probably pretty standard with TIE fighter pilots, but I still like the way they stick out a little bit. There's a little bit of color difference here. I don't know if that's kind of a... Yeah, it's not on the other side. I don't know if that's... I don't know what that is, but it's got to be standard on all of the TIE fighter pilots. I just don't know. It would have been cool to have maybe a different color inside the eyes, maybe to set it off. But when I get a real close look at it, it does look like it's a hue different, but it's just not as noticeable in person as it is on camera. And of course, the back, just the same. If you have a TIE fighter pilot, this is just another TIE fighter pilot, but he's carbonized. So, but if you are like me, you probably have to have two of them because you need it to flank other people. Maybe a carbonized Darth Vader. Maybe they're all on Hoth and they're going to their shuttle base. Maybe. I'm having way too much interest in this theory that they all look a little bit frostbitten. The Scout Trooper from The Mandalorian comes with the tiny pistol. And it's so tiny that he can only get 2 fingers into the trigger guard. And not all of his fingers. So, yeah, it's weird how tiny that is. But it's accurate. The pistols were tiny. You can put that right in the boot. Right into the holster there. So, boom. Just like that. Now he's ready to ride his carbonized flying thing. Oh my gosh, speeder bike. His carbonized speeder bike. It's cool. It's not really anything too pronounced. The colors white are muted. The colors that are kind of offsetting the everything, like the kind of the brownish, that's more carbonized. The rest of it is it's not pearlescent, it's just flat. And of course the everything that's black has a little bit of pearlescence up here in the shoulders, but as it comes down toward the fist, no. The legs also, no, the legs are completely carbonized. They look really good. Shiny, as they should. But if you have a Scout Trooper, you have this Scout Trooper. This one just looks a little bit different, which could look cool in a scene together. Maybe the one that's more prominent, maybe if you have like a shaft of sunlight or something, that one can gleam a little bit, and maybe that would look cool. I'm not sure. And last but not least, the Emperor's Royal Guard, of course, comes with 700 layers of robes. Came with a bunch of robes that were sort of tucked in by his feet, and I untucked them, and I just left them everywhere. He has this kind of pointing, gesturing hand, which I thought this sword wand thing looked good in. I wish it had the full thing that goes from the floor to his hand, but he doesn't. He has another hand that is a grasping hand that would have been good for this. It's a little wide, maybe. He also has a Scout Trooper pistol. Little tiny pistol. But the reds under here are just really vibrant, really shiny. I think that's what the Carbonized collection should be, is just extremely shiny. Like the Stormtrooper white should be really shiny. The TIE Fighter Pilot black should be really shiny instead of flat. Like this paint is flat, but this is really, really shiny. This really has a big point of difference. And I know it's probably more expensive to get everything shiny, but the shiny is better than the carbonized. And likewise for the cape. The cape is made out of something else. Gives it that, deeper, rich red, I think. The other red is muted a little bit, matches a little bit better with the underneath, I thought. That's how I remember it. For all I know, that could be Kirk Hanos's underside. I don't know when the last time I examined under the robe was for an Emperor's Royal Guard. But the cape is really cool. It would have been great with a little wire, now that I'm spoiled by McFarlane Toys wires. But it's a really cool figure. And it was really, really, the Royal Guard that, it has made it sort of really worth it. The shiny helmet and the really shiny gear underneath. You can't see the shiny gear. That's the thing, is I wish all of these figures had the kind of shiny gear that this figure has. But everything underneath that is this kind of shade of red, or his armor is this color, and it's this shininess. And it's really cool. And I wish that had spread to the other figures. So if they're not going to make any carbonized figures anymore, I say it's probably a good time to stop. But if they are, I want more of everything just real shiny, not just a little shimmer or just a little coat of something, shimmery, but I want just a full on shiny armor. So that's it for the carbonized figures. Hopefully you have a few in your collection. Maybe you enjoy them, or maybe you never got them because you're like, I don't understand what this even is. I completely understand. But until next time, enjoy your toys.